And just like that, we're back. Some say I have a face for radio. I don't necessarily agree with that. Do you?
I believe I do have a face for radio.
Why are you always playing with your beard?
I don't know.
You're always doing it.
It's just a fidget.
Are
dude.
you ever going to shave it, you think?
I'm getting real close to shaving.
Really?
it
Don't
now.
you love it? That's a lot of work to shave.
I
mean,
hate
you literally
shaving.
have the Sturgis beard going on.
I know. I hate shaving. I love having a beard, but when it gets to this length, it starts to get annoying.
Does the girlfriend complain about it at all?
No, but she doesn't really say anything about it. So I gather she doesn't like it, but she would never tell me.
But she never compliments it?
No.
Really?
No.
But is she one of those girls that likes a manly looking man, or does she want the pretty boy? Her dad's had big beards, big goatees, big mustaches. But do you think she likes the pretty boy look?
I don't think so. I've never been a pretty boy. I mean, so.
Well, kind of.
I mean, I guess, yeah. But never. No, I don't know. She doesn't. I don't think it really matters. I think my spirit is so bright that I don't need to worry about my exterior.
You just woo her with your personality and sense of humor is what you're trying to say?
I think so.
So there we are, another episode of Breaking It Down right here at This Life Ain't For Everybody podcast. Breaking it down with Chad and Alex. We're talking about beards. Right now, I guess we are. I guess we could stay on beards and facial hair. That is a sensation right now of, I think they call them hipsters. I think the hipsters kind of brought back what they thought was a beard, but they also would mix a beard with what they call a man bun. And I've never understood the man bun. Now, look, I'm bald, and so are you.
I'd love to have a man bun.
Would you? Like, if you had hair, would you tuck it up like that and wear a bun?
I wouldn't even know what to do if I had hair again, but I wish I did. I'd have a mullet. I'd have a man bun. I'd have just everything. I just miss having hair.
I'd have a mullet for sure. I would have
100%.
I would have a Paul McDonald look of hair going everywhere with the beard and everything. But a man bun, I don't know about the man bun.
No, I mean, I get, like people clown on them. I just literally would do almost anything to get my hair back. That's what I mean by I would have everything. Like, I would never get a haircut. Or if I did, it would be like a really cool haircut that took 20 minutes to comb in the morning. I miss having hair,
Like with Aquanet and like music playing.
Dep hair gel.
Heavy D and the boys playing. And
oh my
now
God.
that we found love.
Well, when I was in high school, I had long hair and used to bleach it blonde and all that. That's probably why I don't have any hair now. I probably ruined it, or just from wearing baseball hats.
Is your
or whatever.
mom's dad bald? Your grandpa on your mom's side?
No.
He's not? Is Nick?
Nick is. My oldest brother is not. My dad is.
Wow, they say the gene comes from your mom's dad, your grandpa on your mom's side. And my grandpa, Carmen Philippone, on my mom's side, was bald as a bat.
No, my grandpa had hair. I mean, it was kind of thin, but he definitely had hair like his whole life. I remember him. He passed away 10 years ago or more maybe now, but I remember gray, he had hair for sure.
Do you remember the day it started? Like when you woke up and went, oh my God, I'm actually losing my hair. Was there a time where you could, myself, the pillow would have hair on it. I'd be in the shower and someone would come out and I'd be like, I tried everything. Rogaine, Propecia. I went to the pet store. Yeah, I went to the pet store and bought horse and mane shampoo that you would use on your horse because I heard a rumor that could help strengthen your hair follicles. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was like 24 when I started and I kept trying to hang on to it. And then finally I was like, boom. And as soon as I shaved it, I had like 3 people say, man, you need to get hair plugs. Yeah, like right to my face in person. Like, you should get hair plugs. I'm like, I ain't getting no hair plugs. But I was ashamed. I'm still at this age, this many years later, I'm still not good with being bald. I never go in public without a hat.
I don't remember. My hair was always like kind of thin. So I don't remember, and it was like blonde, so I don't remember like seeing it on the pillows and stuff like that. But I remember I was working at Western here and, I would just like, obviously you realize your hair isn't as full as it used to be, and I still have hair like on the sides of my head and back, obviously just the top's very, very thin. Out. Yeah. And I remember like, the construction industry, those guys don't pull any punches, and I remember, they'd be like, man, you comb that, that was when like kind of combing your hair forward was popular, man, you ain't gonna be able to comb that hair forward. You know, where's that hair start? Like on the back of your neck, and you're combing it all the way forward. And I was like, damn, am I really like bald?
You're showing
like,
it out.
And but I do see. I had like the opposite effect, maybe because I was like, I kept my balding hair for so long that like when I shaved my head for the first time, people were like, damn, dude, you know, you got a pretty good looking bald head. Like you're lucky, you know? And so I just never cared, you know, like I'd shave my head and, you know, whatever. And I still don't really care. Like to this day, like I haven't cut my hair in 2 months probably, but I wear a hat most of the time, you know, but like I would take my hat off right now.
So if you went to dinner tonight with the girl, would you wear a hat?
If it was okay to wear a hat.
Okay, well, what if it wasn't okay and it was like a little bit more of a fancier upscale?
Yeah, I wouldn't give.
But would you go and shave your head first, or would you just be fine with the way it looks because you're fine with your relationship right now?
Like if I had the opportunity to go shave my head, I would. But like so, this summer, I during COVID, that's how I got this beard. Was I remember, or you know, I said I'm not shaving until, you know, the 2 week to flatten the curve thing was over, just kind of as like a joke. Right. And then here we are a year later. So I still haven't shaved the beard is like a full year with no, you know, I mean, I trim a little bit of it, but not really. And at the same time, I was like, I'm going to grow my hair out. One, because they closed all the barber shops, and I have a shaver at home, but I just hate doing it. So I went like, that whole time the barbershops were closed without cutting my hair. And I was like, dude, I'm going to grow a mullet out like a skullet, you know, because I do have my hair in the back. And I figured if I wore a hat, you know, people would just assume I had a mullet, a legit mullet.
With hair on top?
Yeah, with very little hair on top. And I remember I came to one of your pool parties and Clay's girlfriend was like, dude, you look like a child molester.
What's that all about? Do they have a certain look?
Well, when you picture like Jeffrey Dahmer, you know, he's got like really thin.
He wasn't a child molester.
Well, he was a freak, I think is what she meant to say, you know, like.
But there's a difference between a serial killer and a child molester.
Well, he was a cannibal too.
He ate his victims. Right. But I don't know. I don't remember if Jeffrey Dahmer was a child molester. I thought he just killed.
No,
he
was.
Killed adults.
Well, maybe not child, but remember he had that young. That's kind of how he got caught, right? Wasn't there like a young man that.
A young guy? I don't know about that. Maybe young, but not like under 18.
Not like a kid. You know, but you're going down this weird path now. I'm not going to be able to sleep.
Well, I
tonight.
just don't know why people would say you look like a child molester because you're trying to grow your hair out.
Well, but you just, you know, it just looked bad. It was just in that in between phase.
But why would people go to like the worst thing you possibly could be in life, right? Like if you're growing your hair out and you're already pissed and sad that you're bald, and then all of a sudden somebody goes, they don't say like, dude, you look like a WWE wrestler that's losing his hair. Right. They don't say you look like the world's arm wrestling champion that's losing his hair. They say you look like a child molester.
That's true, huh?
Why do they automatically go to molester? That doesn't make any sense. Like that's the worst thing that a human being could possibly become.
Right.
Like they don't even deserve to have a breath, right? If you mess with a kid.
Right.
And they go, just because you're trying to grow a mullet or a skullet, as you call it, they call you a child molester.
Right. I don't know. I never really thought about it. Now I'm pissed.
But it's kind of a weird way to go.
It is.
Like you hear people say, you look like you driving a van with a free candy sign on it.
Right. No, that's where people go for sure.
They do it. They're like, it's weird that people automatically go to child molester. Like child molesters have a certain look. I would think if they had a certain look, we would pick them out every day. But if you go onto those websites, you can literally see like that where they have to, what is it called? What am I trying to say?
Oh, they have to register with the state.
They have to register. Registered sex offenders have to, you could find out where they're at in your neighborhood. Have you ever like been driving through your neighborhood or even Sun Valley and been like, oh, there's a registered sex offender? Like, Have you ever walked up to somebody in Hobies and went like, you look like a child molester?
I can't remember last time I was at Hobies.
But at my pool party, you're told you look like a child molester.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird? Like, could you
weird.
go to prison right now and be like, and walk through all of the inmates and go like, you've got to be a child molester.
That's right. No.
Okay, so why do people go there? Okay, back to beards. So tell me, you're in the middle of summer and you're growing it out. Does it come into fruition, or is it after this pool party you go, I can't do it anymore?
No. I grew it out for months, and it did truly look terrible. And so where I was going with what you asked me was, I had to go to an Elks. I got my dad into the Elks Lodge.
Yeah,
and you got to wear a suit and all that stuff when you do it. And I committed to growing my hair out, dude. So it was the first time in 15 years, dude, I actually stole some of my girlfriend's hairspray and like kind of like combed this half bald hair grown out thing that I went to Louis for dinner and then went to the Elks Lodge to get my dad in. Yeah, it rocked it.
Nobody said a word?
Frankie Bacconi was like, that's the longest I've seen your hair since we were kids.
Nope. Nobody called you child molester though.
No, nobody there would ever do that. But then, I grew it out it was probably like an inch and a half long, dude, which is long for a bald guy, you know? And they opened the barber shops back up. I went and saw the lady that cuts my hair, and I told her what I wanted, and I think she was so like happy to be back open, but at the same time was like really kind of like venting on me about what they had just gone through, you know, because remember they closed the barbershops, so she had lost her livelihood for months. Joey, she actually retained Joey to try and help her get her stuff back together. But anyway, she accidentally just shaved my head like she normally would do because she was in the middle of kind of talking and all that, you know, and ruined my streak.
So she just assumed you wanted to shave because it looks so bad?
No, I told her what I wanted, and I told her I was joking. You know, I said, I'm screwing around. I want to get, you know, I want to have a mullet. You know what that is. And she's been a barber for like 35 years. She's like, oh yeah. So she started like shaving the sides, you know, like she would normally do to do a mullet, and she was just passionate and talking to me, and she just went all the way around the back and like
smoked it.
Like gave me like a fade basically. I
she
did
put
not
some
want
lines in it.
No, I
No
wish.
lines?
If I would have been able to get to that mullet stage, guaranteed I would have had lines for sure.
Oh yeah, dude! Like put the Harley logo in there, the Jack Daniels logo.
That's what I said, man.
Why do you have a beard? Ask yourself this question. Okay. There's been a fad of beards lately. That's why I brought up the hipsters. They brought them back. You can wear skinny jeans and have a beard and a man bun.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool. But why do people grow beards? Like, is it like makeup? Like your face didn't look good without it. You had a baby face, a round face, this face. So you grow it for that reason? Is it because you're challenging yourself? Because there are some guys out there that will be like, man, if I could grow a beard, but it's just too patchy. But if I could, I would grow one. But why do you? Because you got to take care of it. That goes through those stages of where you got to scratch it all the time because it becomes itchy. You get food stuck in it. Mm-hmm. It's a flavor saver in a lot of ways. Some of them grow to the point to where you look like a chia pet and you need to constantly trim it and shape it. Mm-hmm. Then
yours is shaped up nice, by the way. Who did that for you?
My shape? It's looking good, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I got a little personal stylist that comes over here. She's a friend of mine named Brittany. She's badass.
That's what the last time I grew one, I went with the style you got where it's kind of short on the side and long on the front. That's a good beard.
Well, the reason that I don't go longer on the sides is because mine has the tendency to grow outwards instead of downwards.
So does mine.
And even if I condition it and bring it down like an hour into the conditioner or whatever, the holder or whatever, like, you know, there's these companies out there like Grow a Beard or Dollar Shave Club, and they specialize in this kind of manhood. But why is it manhood? Why do you have a beard? Because if you shaved it, you would never have any of that to worry about.
But I hate shaving. I've always done, like, you said challenge.
You hate shaving, but you went 35 years or however old you are without growing a beard.
But I've always hated it, and I just did it. So a lot of my life, I couldn't have one. You know, at Western, they don't let you have. You could have like a really tight one. You know, you could have like a 5 o'clock shadowish one.
Mine wouldn't go.
Right now, no. Yours, the one that you normally have. You know, where it's shorter, you could have. And then, so part of it too is it's hard to get past that stage that you talked about where it itches, dude. People
give up right there.
God, dude.
So it's like a threshold,
right? Like if you can get past that point, then it's easy, right? And then
why are you talking about shaving it? It looks good,
but because that's what I was going to say too is that I go with the beard. It's like thin and patchy when it's short, and then when it's long, it fills in. So I can't like just trim it. I guess I could trim it down, you know, but I don't know. I like it long, but then I get to this point where I'm at right now where it's kind of annoying me. Like you said, it's hard to eat sandwiches.
Is it because of your Harley? Be honest.
No.
Do you like having your helmet on with that look? It's like you went to Sturgis last year.
It's 100 times worse with a beard.
Why?
Because
when you're hitting
the
wind?
air comes up from underneath, dude. And so you end up with this.
So do you have to rubber band it down or face mask it down?
I don't.
You don't handkerchief it down or anything?
No, I don't know.
Do you really like riding a Harley?
I love it, dude.
Really?
Yeah. It's literally, it's the greatest thing like you could ever do. It really is.
There's no way.
It is.
There's no way. The greatest?
It's so there's so many things that I don't ride like super long distance, but that's a whole different thing, but like when you jump on your bike, you're, most of the time you're by yourself or maybe you're riding with your friends, but like you don't have to think about anything else. You know what I mean? I like things that you can just kind of shut your brain off and focus on that one thing. Because when you ride a bike, you gotta focus. You can't. People are gonna make mistakes driving their cars around you, and it doesn't matter whose fault it is. You have to not get in that wreck. Like when I just drove out here, there was a flipped over Jeep on the freeway. If you're on a motorcycle, even if you don't hit that accident, all the debris that was in the highway, if you hit that on a bike, there's a pretty good chance you're going to wreck.
You're done.
Yeah. So you have to always watch.
And it's not always about how good of a rider you are. It's the other people too. Driving,
it's
right?
Always the other
always
people.
The other people.
Always the other people. That's what people get frustrated when they see guys on Harleys go rip or any bikes go ripping by them. Some people are showing off, but you want to be away from everyone. You know what I mean? So when you get on the freeway, you want to get over to the fast lane as quick as you can and get into like an area where there's not a bunch of cars around you, because they're just people. They change. My bike is as loud as you can make a motorcycle. People still cut me off. People still drift over into your lane. You would think, and my bike's bright green. You would think like everyone would see you and hear you and be aware of you. People are in their own bubble.
Makes it harder to maneuver?
Makes it not harder to maneuver. When you get your beard long enough, it gets up into your eyes, though, for sure.
So is this one of the reasons that you would shave your beard?
No.
Then what are the reasons?
It's hard to sleep at night with a beard. Have you noticed that?
No.
Well, when I like roll around this thing, that's the reason.
You move around. I don't move when I sleep.
Oh, yeah, I move around.
I'm smoked.
I flip over.
If I sleep, I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to sleep.
Right. So this when I turn over at night, it goes in my face. That literally the last time I grew a beard was for like a year and a half. It was longer even than this one that I have now. And I just got my hair cut and I just got it all trimmed and it was looking smooth. But I tell everyone, I think it was bothering me so bad at night. I remember, this is crazy. It was a Thursday. I woke up and I was so frustrated because every time I rolled over, this long beard was like poking me in the nose and poking me in the face and getting in my ears and stuff. And I got up and shaved it. It was probably 10 inches long at that time, and I just shaved it off.
So do you think you're going to end up doing that this time?
I was pretty frustrated yesterday with it. The other thing is these stupid masks, dude. Do you notice that? You put a mask on, at least when I wear a mask, right away I've got this big dent in it and, it sticks out goofy and I hate it, dude. Which I've gone through a whole year of that, so you're going to ask me why now, but I don't know. It is starting to annoy me. Yours never annoys you?
I don't like the mustache hair over my upper lip.
I don't like that either.
My dad and people do that. I don't like that at all. So like if I had it my way, I would have it styled and trimmed every 2 days because it grows profusely.
Do you do that?
No, once a week, maybe once every 10 days.
And how long?
I need it more.
How long are you going to grow the front?
I don't know. It looks good.
Obviously, it's kind of a good length right there.
I like this length right here, but it's getting bushy in the front, which I like. But I have to perform maintenance and maintain it. Like I have a hot brush now. I'm telling you all this in confidentiality. I have a hot brush now that's like something that a girl would clamp down. The hot things.
I know what it is.
So I have a hot brush that softens it and makes it so nice. I have all of the conditioners and the oils, and Vinny that owns the Derby downtown, he's got his own line of conditioners and oils and all of the holders and everything. So I got a little Zach Brown guitar pick in the top of that, and I just kind of scoop up a little bit of that beard wax, and you just mold it in your fingers until it kind of gets oily, and then I just put it in there. You don't do any of this, or you do? People that have family members that have beards, they start buying things like this for them, right?
Well, so this is so funny, dude. Jilly's brother-in-law, David, has a company that it's called Dick's Body Oil, and it's for your beard, body, and balls.
He named it after his dad?
No, Dick's. Oh, not JP.
How did you automatically come up with that name?
Well, you said dad, but I knew where you were going. But I don't use that stuff. I don't. Do you find that, and I don't have any of his, amazingly, but I have some other ones that somebody did get me as a gift. It feels like greasy all the time, and maybe it's just because the one that I have isn't a good one. Do you ever notice that?
No, I got high end ones that, and not that you had to spend a ton of money on them, but Vinny does a good job.
Do you? But like when you talk on your phone, if you pull your phone down, do you see like the oil? So I must be using the wrong one.
No, I don't talk on my phone like that. I'm that guy in the airport that's got the earpiece in.
Oh, are you the guy on the speakerphone?
But I don't go anywhere. So my phone is always on speakerphone. Or I'm in my truck and I'm by myself, or even if there's somebody there and it's not that important, I'll have it on Bluetooth. But if not, I always have it on speakerphone holding it away. I can't stand holding the phone in my ear. I think that's why they have speakerphones on cell phones.
Yeah, but sometimes you just can't do that, you know?
Where?
Well, like if I'm at the mall getting a Cinnabon or something, dude, I don't.
You go to the mall for Cinnabons?
No, I haven't been to the mall in a long time.
I went to a mall in Sacramento the other day and it freaking scared me. I literally was so anxietied out, I didn't even want to be in there.
Why?
Just because, man, I like being in a snow goose field with more decoys than
humans.
Like 2 or 3. Well, you're always going to have more than humans, but I mean, like, that's my group. Like, I'm not saying that I can't go to a concert. I don't get freaked out, but the mall is it's like Christmas time again. Yeah. It's like you got to go into these stores and you're looking for something. I literally would go into stores, and I was there for a volleyball tournament for you know who, Alyssa, and we were going into stores. I went into Spencer's. I went into Hot Topic, and I was looking at all the stuff. And I'm like literally like trying to get the confidence up to buy something. I didn't buy one thing.
What would you buy at Hot Topic nowadays?
Well, like I was going to buy my assistant a band shirt because she wears band shirts. But then I went in there and literally my mind went straight to this. If it's not vintage, I'm out. If I'm not at a Guns N' Roses concert, standing in a merch line and buying it at the actual GNR concert, I won't buy a shirt from those bums or whoever, you know, those illegal dudes that sell them after, the imposters. No. I won't do that. And I won't, like I went into Hot Topic and I saw this Motley Crue shirt and I'm like, well, they say they're never going to tour again, but Vince Neil always lies and they always come back. Him and Tommy Lee and Nikki Sixx and Mick Mars always end up coming back to another tour. And I heard they are now again, after they even signed. Did you see that? Remember that like 4 or 5 years ago, they signed an actual contract on social media or on TV that said, we are guaranteeing and promising this is our last tour. And they swore on it. And they signed a clause that said, we will never tour again, to make their fans think like this is it. And now I heard they're going to tour again.
Got to go see him again.
But anyway, I'm looking at the Motley Crue shirt and I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I wasn't there. Like I have Motley Crue shirts from the Theater of Pain tour and Shout at the Devil and all that because my cousin Eric might have been and he got me one at a concert that's in my collection now. But I don't know. Can you do it? Can you go in there? They had Kurt Cobain. And I was like, but dude, they had some Eazy-E shirts. And I was like, I'd wear an Eazy-E shirt because I love Eazy-E. Like that's what got me into hip hop, kind of him and Rob Bass and Fat Boys and stuff. But I'd wear a Too Short shirt, but I wouldn't buy it at Hot Topic. I would buy it at a Too Short concert or off of a Too Short website. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No,
I don't think they're authentic there.
No, and kids now are wearing them because that's what's cool. You know, and it's funny. I saw this whole video thing online. You know, they're stopping these kids, like you said, Kurt Cobain. You know, then they'd go, "What's your favorite Nirvana song?" And
no idea.
The kids are like, "What's Nirvana?" You know, you're wearing a Kurt Cobain shirt and you don't know who his band is. Or I saw another one where they, you know, kids wearing a, you know, whatever Motley Crue shirt, and they'll put the headphones on them and start playing the song, and they've never heard it before. Because it's cool to wear, you know, I see people wearing Notorious B.I.G. shirts all the time.
They were in there too. And I love Notorious B.I.G. His new documentary is awesome.
I didn't
just
know
came
about
out. I think it's called I Got a Story to Tell. I was in a store the other day with Jen, and we were behind a lady that was probably almost 60, maybe 60, 61. How old's your mom? She in her 60s?
Yeah.
She looked like your mom. Like literally, like I thought it was your mom. Same color hair, same body build. And she was wearing a vintage Billy Idol shirt that you knew she was at that concert.
Sure.
You don't know for sure, but you could tell this chick went to her share of rock concerts and got after it and partied a little bit. And I'm like, that's vintage. She's still wearing that shirt. It's probably from like 84 when Billy Idol had Rebel Yell and White Wedding and all that stuff. But I take pride in the concert shirts or the band shirts that I wear are guys that we know and go to their shows or just go to a show. I don't know how many I bought at the last GNR show that you went with me, but I bought every one they had.
I was just going to say, I was pissed that I didn't get one.
Why didn't you?
I remember we went to that first stand and I think the one I wanted was sold out. And then we moved around. If you remember this, they had no opener. And it all of a sudden we were in line for another one.
And then you heard it so easy.
You could hear the freaking song start. And I'm like, dude, I'll get one after the show. And then it was like a 2.5 hour just whirlwind of.
Could you imagine the money they were making off merch? I bought like 7 shirts. It was like, I'm not exaggerating. It was like $500.
Oh, I know. And remember you were going to buy that jacket. And that jacket was like $500 on its own. But and then we never got back out there to get one, and I am bummed about that.
They're coming back. They'll be back.
Remember we were going to go see them right before COVID, or I guess it would have been during COVID.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
We're going. But I like vintage. So when you think about beards, is it vintage? Is it because it's old school? Is it because it's the way of the mountain man? This new carnivore diet, the living off the land. Phil Robertson, Duck Commander, had a big beard. What are the best beards? I mean, you want to? There's so many beards that you can think of in American history. Do you want to emulate somebody? Does it make you feel like you're part of this culture? Why do we grow a beard if they're a pain in the ass? You just admitted that your girlfriend that you've been with over 5 years has never complimented it. Usually a girl will compliment, unless you guys just don't compliment each other and you're like, hey babe, you look hot tonight, or you look sweet, hot in that dress. Maybe she's just not a complimented person. Coming from the bloodline I know she's from, she's probably not. She's probably going to tease you a little bit more. But why do we grow a beard?
Yeah, I don't know. I like having a beard during hunting season. I mean,
why? Because you're camouflaged. When
a little bit more. Not such a bright, white face shining out there. A little bit. It keeps your face a little bit warmer. You don't wear a lanyard, a paracord lanyard like I do with ducks and geese, and I wear one because you guys e-call a lot with predator hunting. I mouth call. I wear one. I do wear one.
Dude, I can't tell you how many times I went to raise my duck call or goose call up this year, and these beard hairs get in those little cracks and of the parachute cord, the paracord, and you raise it up and it just, oh my gosh, rips you.
Same with I still wear a face mask even with a beard, but when you go to pull that thing up and it gets all tangled up in there, or the zipper part of your coats and stuff. But it a little bit.
You're not selling me on having a beard. Like, you're not a good spokesperson for having a beard. You have a nice beard, but you can't tell me why you grow it.
I don't know why. It's always.
Is it vanity? Yes or no?
No.
It's got to be vanity.
It's not.
So you don't think you look better with a beard than you do without a beard?
50-50 on the people I run into. 50% of the people tell me shave that beard off, and 50% of them say, I love that beard. This little old lady yesterday, she said, that beard's getting long. And I said, yeah, I think I'm getting ready to shave it off. She said, no, don't do that. It looks good on you. 10 minutes later, Joe DeRico, when are you going to shave that beard off? It's like half and half. Dude.
I talked to Coach yesterday. Why would he tease a beard? Could he not grow one?
Oh my God, he sneezes, he grows one. He's an old Italian guy. I don't know. It's part of it's, some people, it's counterculture is not the right word. I don't know what the right word is. Some people are offended by it. You know what I mean? Like,
by a beard?
Not offended, but I think some people look at it like a tattoo or a piercing or long hair, the long-haired hippies and stoners and stuff, they don't like beards. People think you should be clean cut. You never seen Rick Revilio with 1 stitch of facial hair. I guarantee he can grow it. Never saw Jack with it. Never saw Tom with it. their company policy is to not have it, for the most part.
Steinbrenners were the same way. You can never have facial hair as a Yankee.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain people that are offended by it. They just don't think it looks good or whatever.
But is that a control thing, though? Because if you're a good human being and you can go in and represent a company or a brand like WNS, like we're talking about, in a nice, respectful, ethical way, who are they to say, we don't want you representing our company? That's almost saying, and especially when you think about the customer base that they sell to. I would say probably at least 50% of the customer base they sell to has some sort of facial hair.
Sure.
So why would you take that chance of saying, well, our employees are better than you because they don't have facial hair? That's what they're kind of saying. Or is it because if they let one person grow, then this one person is going to want to do it to where they might not represent it the right way, and then it can get out of control?
Right. I mean, I think it's...
Can you have tattoos at there?
Oh, yeah. But...
You could have sleeves hanging out of your shirt at the counter while you're getting somebody some product?
Oh, yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Well, that makes no sense then.
Well, hey, they might have... I've been out of there a long time. Maybe tattoos weren't all that prevalent back, but I don't think they ever made you cover them up. The only place... I know, like, police officers can't really have beards or tattoos showing. I think it's an old school thing. Control, or it's just a stigma. People think it's unprofessional. I mean,
and there you go again. Like, if you think about the people that they're associating themselves with, don't you want to relate to the people that you're pulling over, arresting, the community people when you're just on the beat and you're walking, or you're, like you see the people in the community.
Yeah.
Why do you, it's almost like I'm a cop. I'm like you. I do have sleeves, but I have to wear these long sleeves to cover them up because I don't want to portray myself as a thug. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I know some of the coolest people in the world that have sleeve tattoos. And I know a lot of cops that have sleeve tattoos.
Yeah, tons of them. Most of the, our military, the greatest people in the world have them. That's kind of where tattoos start. I mean, I think they probably started in prison.
Sailors.
But military guys overseas, and when they came home and all that stuff, sailors have tattoos and all that stuff. So, I mean, that's a whole big can of worms to open up, right? I mean, there's a stigma around tattoos, and
big time.
There's a bunch of people. My brother's an attorney. He's got tattoos down to his elbows, and I mean,
he's a really good attorney too.
Right. Hey, there's, like you said, there's the greatest people in the world have them. Maybe society's changing to where it's less of a issue, but definitely I remember growing up, my dad was a cop. My dad doesn't have any tattoos, but one of my good buddies, Nick, his stepdad was a cop, and he had, I never knew it, but I assume they're kind of old school, maybe like military or something tattoos, and he always had to wear long sleeves, and he would work like Hot August Nights or something like that, and you'd see him, and he'd be in that long police shirt all the way down to his wrist, and all the other guys were in short sleeve shirts because they made him cover them up. They still do it today. I see now the guys wear like those compression sleeves over them and stuff to cover them because they don't want to wear full blown long sleeve polyester shirts, but they still make them cover them up.
It's a whole other discussion because tattoos are a weird deal. That's a weird, weird deal. I mean, you get one on your head, you get one on your neck, you get one around your ear, you get one, like, you can't take it back really. You can get them covered up. It's expensive and then it hurts again, but you still haven't told me why you have a beard.
I don't know why I have one.
It makes no sense for you to say. Well, I would tell somebody, if somebody goes, Belding, why do you have that beard? And I would say two things. One, I feel it makes me look better in this stage of my life. Not because of what I do or who I am or who I represent or what I represent or whatever. And two, it gives me more confidence in my appearance, in my approach, in the way that I talk to people, in the way that I look at myself. And that's what we're really trying to get, right? Like, if you think about it, if you think about the way people are, there's girls that say, don't post that picture, I look terrible. Mm-hmm. There's filters on these phones that you can literally take a picture and change it to the point to where
you would never know it was the
that's
original
not even
picture.
Close to what you look like. Your skin isn't that texture. Your skin isn't that whatever color, whatever, right? If you think about everything that goes into vanity, that's got to be why you would have a beard, because otherwise it's a lot of maintenance. It's a lot of upkeep. Same thing, I guess. It's a lot of, like you say, potential problems with pulling on it or itching or having to scratch it or sleeping and twisting your head and your neck and getting it caught up. Your girlfriend hasn't given you a compliment, so she might not think it's sexy or looking that good.
Mine's gray and
you got gray in
mostly
it?
red. Mine's like a 3. Literally, I couldn't.
But it's got to be vanity.
But I don't think so. I mean,
so your dad has a mustache.
Yeah.
If Mark shaves his mustache, I don't look that good without this. Maybe it's because he's used to it.
I was going to say, I've never seen my dad without one. So.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying, though, is that there was a reason why they never got rid of it once they got it.
Sure.
Because it's got to be vanity. It's not something that's going to make you smarter. It doesn't make you more dignified. It doesn't raise your IQ for sure.
Yeah.
It costs you money if you want to upkeep them. Then you got to pay a barber, or like these barbershops that specialize in beards, they aren't cheap.
No.
They aren't cheap. If you want a good one, if you want a barber that's an actual barber that can run a blade and get up tight and really shape that beard, that specialize in beards, like Vinny or his crew at the Derby, it's expensive to be in the Derby. And then you buy a whiskey because they serve whiskey there. Then you buy all the product after to support your beard and maintain it. So it's got to be vanity. You have to think that you look better with a beard to have it this long.
I don't. I mean, I don't. I really don't. This beard that I'm growing right now is different. Because I literally said I'm going to grow this beard until I don't have to do this COVID stuff anymore, never knowing it was going to be a year later. So this one's different. But see, I don't do the things that you're doing either, though. I ran into my buddy the other day and he said, you got one of those hot comb things for whatever, or hot, whatever you called it.
Hot comb.
I'm like, no.
That's what I call. I don't know what they're called.
Literally, I've had the same comb since I had hair 20 years ago, and I kind of like comb it down into a certain shape, and that's it. But, I used to, the beard that I had before, I do, when I was getting it all trimmed down and, like I said, right before I shaved it off, I just got my head shaved, just got it all trimmed up. It was looking good. I like the way that it looked. You know what I mean? I won't lie. I think, but part of it's just also like, it's like a conversation piece. You know what I mean? It's
no way.
100%. Most people, you'll start a conversation with a total stranger over a beard, much the same way that you will a tattoo or something like that.
I've never started a conversation over a beard, and I start a lot of conversations.
Well,
I started this one over
you've
a beard,
never.
I guess I started this one over.
Why do you think Jamie Johnson grows his beard down to his nuts like he does? He was a clean cut guy when his first album came out.
I think it's because aesthetically it makes him who he is.
He was a good looking dude in his first album.
Doesn't matter. He thinks he looks better now.
Sure, but it's also an image, right? It's also, it's Rob Zombie wears dreadlocks, for a little bit of an now we're talking stage performer type.
What's the
people.
image of dreadlocks? I thought that was Jamaican and Rasta man.
But I think it's just like an attention getter, right? It's a conversation starter,
So you're saying not that it's a conversation starter, it's that people want to look different to bring attention to them when they walk into a room?
Yeah, set you apart from everybody else, I guess,
But how can you say that in a world that's freaking loaded with beards now? They're pretty common now.
Kind of, but not really. You could say the same thing about tattoos, like you would think tons of people have tattoos. I don't have any tattoos, I think like if I
think tattoos should stay internal. Not like you get them on your inside, but like I'm the last guy that needs to hear why you got a tattoo. Like I have this for me. If I need to explain it, then I'll do it, but I don't go out and go, I don't, I don't make sure that people can see it. So they ask me about my dad. I just felt like I wanted to memorialize my dad, and I literally had to wait for my dad to die to get a tattoo, or he would have killed me. Like that's how strict he was, right? Back in the day, right?
Both my brothers have tattoos, and my parents would never let us get a tattoo. And I don't know. I couldn't tell you why I don't have one.
Your mom has tattoos?
Nobody. My brothers do.
Brothers do?
Yeah, neither. My parents don't. But it probably is a little bit of that deep-rooted, I don't want my parents to be disappointed in me and getting a tattoo. Everybody I know pretty much has a tattoo, but Clay doesn't have any, I guess, huh?
Clint. Heather does. Yeah. But the beard, though, is a weird one to me because you can't say, I'm a trendsetter. You can't say I'm a trailblazer. You can't say I'm a pioneer because there's so many beards out there. So,
I would never front and say, I'm a hunter, so I have a beard because I live in a city. I spend, 300 days.
Or lives in the mountains and he don't have facial hair.
100%. Like I said,
a lot of cowboys I know up in the mountains don't have beards.
Most of them don't.
You don't really see a lot of rodeo guys with beards.
No, yeah.
Even mustaches.
Right.
Bull riders, PBR. Most of those guys are clean cut. I wonder what that is. That's a study in itself right there.
They might not let them have them.
Cowboys really don't have beards.
They might not let them have them.
The Marlboro man had a mustache.
Did he? He had a red shirt. I dressed as him.
Even if that's the thing by the PBR, but the PRCA, you don't see a whole lot of bearded cowboys on horses, and whether it's steer wrestling, whether it's calf roping, whether it's saddle bronc or bear bronc or bull riding, you don't see a whole lot of. What event am I missing? Barrel racing. Hopefully they don't have beards. What event am I missing?
Let's talk about who does. Like if you're thinking like old school or like miners were always known to have beards, right? You see like the old gold rush days. Those guys had
Jennings
beards.
grew a little bit of one with a goatee, beardish mustache. Willie Nelson.
I mean, Jamie and Cody Jenks are two country guys that have beards, but
are there any?
There aren't who ZZ Top. I was just going to say there aren't really many rockers, but ZZ Top had beards. Yeah, it is interesting about the rodeo circuit, like you said. I can't think of seeing any.
Me neither.
Not even like goatees and
Cowboys
stuff.
don't have beards.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty
country
legit statement.
Boys. The country boys have beards. Country singers don't. The king of all time, George Strait. I've never seen him. Maybe a mustache at one time, but I don't remember it. I'm trying to think of bearded country singers. Willie and Waylon. Merle, there's some photos out there where Merle started a little bit of a beard once in a while. But those are all guys that came up in the 50s, 60s, and 70s in the outlaw movement of the early 80s.
Right.
But the guys on top today,
like,
Luke Combs, he has a beard. Luke Combs, one of the top guys, he has a beard. So Luke's got a beard, that red beard.
Yeah.
The other guys on top right now, Morgan Wallen, before he did his thing, no, he's had a mustache in pictures. John Party, nothing. Kenny Chesney. Tim McGraw had a mustache with the mullet.
He had a goatee for a while, didn't he?
Yeah, back in the day. Garth Brooks. Garth's probably grown a beard.
He had like a 5 o'clock shadow beard.
I'm not real happy
times.
with Garth Brooks anymore. Even though I think he's amazing entertainer. Like, he's weird. Who had beards? Cowboys don't have beards.
Yeah.
Now, I bet you if you went to Montana and there's some wrestlers up there, some rounder uppers, I bet you there's some beards up there with some bandanas tied around them.
I don't know, because like even when you think about,
and it's that cold outside, you want that warmth. It does keep you warm.
But you think about those old school guys that, like when you watch like old Western movies,
John Wayne movies, there's no beards.
But there's tons of scenes of those guys shaving. You know what I mean? With the old school freaking brush and the old school razor.
And getting shaved.
So you think about like the hippies had beards, right? Jerry Garcia always had a huge beard.
Charles Manson.
Charlie had a big beard. So it part of like probably was like a counterculture
If you
thing.
look at that culture of like the IBMs and the Apples back in the day, a lot of those nerds had beards too.
Like short beards.
Yeah, short beards.
Not like a long
beards.
one.
Like, I wonder if nerds have beards.
The nerd beard might be a legit look.
Did Ogre have a beard in Revenge of the Nerds?
He had that long curly hair though.
Ogre. Nerds. Leith Lofton's grown a beard. Drake White's grown a beard. Zach Brown's got a beard.
Yes.
He's a country star.
He's kind of got a little hippie in him though.
Oh yeah, tons of hippie. And he's got everything in him. Rasta, hippie.
Speaking of nerds, man, I can't wait to break down a few movies, dude. I've just been thinking about
just breaking down movies.
We'll
break one down in the next episode.
I've been thinking about like what happened to movies, dude.
Dude, like what? Like even like Scorsese's new one, The Irishman. I was like,
that was tough to get through, man.
But it is. It's true. The new movies today, like Coming to America, just came out on Prime. I'm scared to watch it. You want to know why? Well, this is for another podcast. But Coming to America 1 is so unreal. All the parts that Arsenio Hall and Eddie Murphy played. And then you like, I'm scared to watch it. Even though Eddie Murphy's last movie, I can't remember the name of it now, on Netflix that he was up for the Oscar in. It's about the comedian that he played, the jokester.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Loved it.
Great movie.
So but I don't know. Are you scared to watch the new cut? It's out now. Coming to America Part 2's out. It's called Coming to America with the number 2 in it instead of the word TO. So they use the number 2 for Part 2, Coming to America.
So, yes, I am. I will watch it, but I'm unable to. A lot of people say you've got to take the second one for what it is and not compare it to the. And I mean that about most sequels, right? You got to just. It's got to be its own thing, and I'm unable to do that.
There's not many sequels that ham up,
and they can't. And that's
we'll talk about these in upcoming episodes, breaking it down. Like Godfather, Part 2 is unreal. A lot of people say Part 3 jumped the shark. Hangover, number 1, amazing. Number 2 in Bangkok, in Thailand. I thought it was funny. Number 3, I was like, it took me a couple times, but it's funny. But I've heard people say it's hilarious. So it's like, how do you make a trilogy? Like, how do you make that many movies stay funny? Police Academy. Remember Police Academy?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was I think 6 or 7 part freaking.
And I remember at least up to 5 of them were good, right? I gotta think.
I used to love them all, but beards.
The Rocky movie.
Beards are something. Sylvester Stallone's had a beard before in movies, in Rocky movies, and the older ones like Rocky 19. Those
Rocky
are some. But I think that beards are a hard explanation unless you can just look at something and go, it makes me look better into myself, and it makes me have more confidence in myself. And I honestly think that is what we are trying to do in life, is have enough self-worth, find our self-worth, and have enough confidence to be who we are. And I think that beards, there's no other reason why you would have one. You don't grow it because your dad told you to. You don't grow it because your soldier, your drill sergeant told you to.
Because they'll tell you not to.
They'll tell you not to.
And your dad teaches you how to shave.
And teach you how to shave. So why do we do it? It's got to be. Yeah. I'm not growing a beard because my dad told me never have facial hair. My dad had a mustache and a beard sometimes too. Worked in cold weather, plumber, union plumber, work up at Tahoe, putting in pipes in the winter, whatever it was. He had a beard sometimes. So it's not like I'm what is that called when you like fight your mom and dad or go against them later on in life? I'm missing some words today. You know the word I'm looking for, where you like go against the curb with your mom and dad and do it because they never let you do it. Like,
you're not rebelling.
Yeah, kind of rebelling. Like, don't touch that beer. You cannot drink beer until you're 21. And then as soon as you go to college, kids are like, oh my gosh, I've never got. But is it better to like let them have a taste of it when they're around you, so they know you that it's comfortable and it's not that bad, so they don't like go crazy when they're outside of your realm? I'm not doing it. I'm not rebelling against my parents by having a beard. I'm actually showing people my age more with a beard, with the gray in it or the salt and pepper look, where if I shave, clean shaven, you would look way younger, I would imagine. Nobody would be able to pick you apart unless you have just an old weathered face because you smoked and were in the sun every day, or a roofer, and you never wore a hat and took care of your skin, right? And you got weathered. That happens too.
Yeah.
But that's like a sign for some people. They want people to know, look, I'm weathered.
I like that look, yeah.
Yeah, so it's got to be vanity. It's got to be confidence. Because otherwise, you would shave your beard. COVID's pretty much over. I mean, Biden got us out of it, right? It's done. I mean, Biden saved the world, I think.
As soon as I don't have to wear a mask, I'm going to shave this thing off.
Go to Texas. You don't have to wear one. Have you seen all the states where they took the mask mandate away?
Yeah. That's a whole different podcast.
All Republican governors.
That's why Nevada's not going to come out of this thing. A lot of people think the rodeo's happening.
Our governor's an idiot. You can take that to the bank.
Won't happen. Yeah. And for all, put your tinfoil hat on, follow the federal funding. Republican governors are not getting the federal funding from Joe Biden, so they're all saying, eat it, and they're opening back up. And all the Democratic states want their free pacifier from Daddy Joe Biden, so they're all going to leave their masks on. And 2 masks now in California, 3 masks if you want to cure cancer.
Did you see him speak in Texas the other day after the storms? He went down there after the snow melted.
Of course.
Trump would have been down there the day it hit. But did you see him speak? Have you seen him? You got to look at the video. When he's trying to thank the people, and he goes, where am I at? I'm getting lost. Like, says it loud enough on the microphone. You're just like, this is our leader of the free world. Yeah. This is our commander in chief right now. We should be ashamed of ourselves, is my opinion.
100%.
But, excuse me, COVID.
That guy could never grow a beard, by the way.
No. Beards are cool, man. I like them.
Yeah.
But again, you got to have a reason, I think. I guess you don't have to have a reason. Why do you wear blue jeans Why do you wear blue jeans? Because that's what we did our whole lives.
Yeah.
Levi's formatted that, Wranglers, whatever you wear, Dickies. Why do we choose all of the things that we choose? What is our style, Alex? Why do we have a beard?
I will say also, and I touched on earlier, 50% of the people I run into like it and 50% of the people say to shave it. I kind of like not shaving it
I don't think that many people say shave it. I would argue that. I'm sorry, but I would argue that.
Tons of people say
I don't know because I'm not with you all the time.
But tons of people do. And I like not shaving it to not piss those people off, but just to, when somebody tells you to do something, it feels good not to do it.
So now it goes back to what your mom and dad would say back in the day?
Yeah, maybe when it gets to this point now where...
Did your mom say shave it?
No, but my mom the other day said, you have so much gray hair in your beard.
She did?
Yeah, and I was like...
That's probably because it's making her feel old.
Well, that's what I told her. I go, well, I'm 40. I mean, this is...
Does JP tease you about it?
No. But JP's got he has a huge goatee.
Last night I was eating at your guys' establishment. You knew that, right? Well, he didn't know I was going to be there. You just told him Jen was. So
I didn't know you were going to be there, to be honest with you.
So I roll in there and eat. I had a buddy come up from California. We went in there and ate at her mom's birthday dinner. And he walked in and out of that big room probably 10 times during it. I just kind of didn't want him to come over there because you know how it goes when he sees me.
Oh, yeah.
And sure enough, I'm walking out and boom, he looks and takes a double and then turns around and goes, where have you been? I got been sitting at that table the whole night. He goes, you're full of shit. And then he went right into do they sell that shirt in medium? This mask deal really would have helped you if it was back in the day when you were trying to get, you really could have been something. Oh, yeah. And all that, he goes, you look way better. I mean, just started deflating me right there. And I'm like, I look good, JP. I'm looking good right now, boy. I had a Cody Jinks shirt on too with a beard on him.
Oh,
yeah. It was good. I had the prime rib, smoked prime rib last night. It was legit with real horseradish.
He told me that he said, he texted me a picture of the reservations and he said, Jen never showed up. And I said, yeah. I said, Chad's back there right now. And, this is a few minutes in between texts. And he called me. He goes, he was back there that whole time. I never saw him. He said he just walked out the door. He said I gave it to him for a couple minutes as he was walking out the parking lot.
He did. I said, just get the lease papers for my new shop.
Right.
But yeah, I was in there the whole time. I walked right by him. But he's waiting people. He wasn't being a waiter, but he was seating people. So I was just minding my business in there because if he'd have saw me at the table, he would have shredded me in front of that whole room and the acoustics in there with his big Italian voice.
Everyone would have heard it.
He would have just shredded.
You must have showed up after Jen then, right?
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They had already got their bottle of wine. I brought a bottle of wine for her mom as a gift and I sat down and everybody ordered, and then everybody's like, what should we get for dessert? I'm like, hey, the ice cream's unreal. Get the coffee, toffee crunch. I go, it's unreal. Some of the kids got some of the mint chocolate chip. But I didn't get that because I'm kind of trying to get back into preseason, pre-duck season.
Yeah, if you're not going to drink, you can't be eating ice cream.
I'm not drinking for March, which that's a whole other podcast. Is when you enjoy adult beverages without abusing it. And I think that we've talked about it a little bit on our last podcast about cocktails and drinking, but stopping, like actually stopping. I was at dinner last night. I know we're on beards, but one more comment about dinner last night. One of Jen's relatives said, Jen goes, oh yeah, Chad and I are doing this thing. He wants me not to drink for March and he's not either. So we're doing it together, no alcohol. And they go, oh, well, we just went 7 days. And the wife goes, well, I slipped one beer in there. She goes, I couldn't do it. And I'm like, see, it's not anybody that can say, oh, I could stop. Now you look at like alcoholics that have to go to like AA or choose to go to AA and they're trying to stop, how hard it really is. Or smokers that have to stop cold turkey. I'm not addicted to alcohol at all. I don't drink by myself. I don't drink on weeknights most of the time unless I have a get together, I'm in duck camp or whatever. But like, it's hard to not want. Like right now, if we were doing this podcast on a normal Saturday like we are, I would have a cold Bud Light or Busch Light right now.
Yeah. It's funny because I was just going to say I hadn't had any drinks, but I had a beer last night after work. Kind of like, unconsciously, subconsciously, just, worked a long day, had a beer. One beer, totally forgot about it, but yeah, I didn't know Jen was doing it too. Did you talk anyone else into it?
She says it's hard. No, she says it's hard for her. Like the other night, we had a dinner here with American almond beef or almond beef steaks. I cooked up a bunch of ribeyes and New Yorks. And our guests, some of the people that I brought over were drinking red wine, some white wine, Chardonnay. And I had no problem. I was fine. I was just sipping. Because I know that I'm not, it's almost like the Atkins diet. Like I could never do that diet and say, I'm never eating carbs again. Even when I was with Revilio at spring training last year, Rick is a no starch carb guy, but he works out so hard, works in his life so hard, good family man. He can cheat once in a while. So we went to this unreal Mexican restaurant. He had some tortilla chips. He had some tortillas and tacos and fajitas and enjoyed it. It's hard to have that mindset of like, I'm never going to do that again. Yeah. If you abuse alcohol or you abuse anything in life, then you have to say, I can never do that again. Like sex, for example. Let's say that you messed up and you, besides the things that we hear happen in prison, could you imagine going to prison for 10 years and never being able to touch a woman again? Think about that. Think about what that would do, like how hard that's got to be.
Well, that's what, and it's a different topic for sure, but it destroys your mental health. You know, that's what I kind of think. If you have to every single day think about not eating carbs, you know what I mean? Just using that for an example. What is that doing to your mental health? Now, if you just choose not to have carbs, or you've done it so long that it's not even like something that pops into your mind. But you know what I'm saying? If you're every day, every meal, every minute, you're having to agonize over what the carb count is in something because it's that big of a deal to you, you're stressing yourself out, maybe doing more harm than the good. You know what I mean?
Well, there's a lot of diets now, dude, whether it's paleo or whether it's this carnivore diet that Chad Mendez is 5 or 6 days into now. There's health benefits in that, I guess, but there's also risks with everything. If you cut out, when I don't eat carbs, and I'm not talking like broccoli and complex carbs. If I don't eat, like last night, we sat down and I worked out yesterday. I freaking worked my ass off yesterday. I didn't go in there and go, oh my God, I deserve a beer. I didn't cheat on that. I went in there. They served that. What's that 50-50 thing called? You know, with the sausage, the meatballs and the sausages.
Mm-hmm. With garlic bread.
So they had the little thin pieces of garlic bread. I tore off a piece of one of those, threw the other piece away, and that sufficed me. But I want to be able to enjoy things like that. But I also am in a stage right now coming off of duck season. I easily could have, I woke up this morning and worked out. If I could have last night ate 6 pieces of that and told myself, oh, I'll be fine. But I'm trying to get to a certain point to where I want to get, right? So it's hard for me. I'm thinking like, it's hard for me to say, if I was telling you right now, Alex, I'm never going to have a drink with you again. There is no possible way on God's green earth that I could do it. Not because I shake and that I need it. I enjoy it. Mm-hmm. I enjoy it. I like pouring a drink at my bar, the pool bar. I like going into the Bud freezer or Bud fridge and getting a cold Bud Light. There's nothing wrong with it. But could you imagine abusing it to the point to where you had to say, I'm never touching it again? And some people are okay with that. Or are they?
I think it dominates your life.
That's a podcast coming up right here on Breaking It Down with Chad and Alex from the This Life Ain't For Everybody podcast series. We want to break it down for you. Today was about beards and facial hair. I don't know why we have them. I told you why I do. Alex still cannot tell himself, his girlfriend, his mom, his dad, his brothers, his friends, and our listening audience right here at Breaking It Down, This Life Ain't For Everybody, why he has a beard. That's weird. You need to go home and think about why can't I tell people why I have a beard?
I'm going to do some soul searching.
We appreciate Jack Daniels sponsoring our podcast series here at This Life Ain't For Everybody and all of our partners and sponsors that take care of us with all of our brands here at The Foul Life and This Life Ain't For Everybody and The Provider and Jargon and Bandit and Avery and Greenhead Gear and Where the Pavement Ends, the brand new podcast series. How is that going? Are you guys going to lay down some more? I hear people say we want more. Are you guys going to give the listening audience more of Where the Pavement Ends?
Oh, you know it.
When? I think you guys need to have a little bit more conversations about just where the pavement ends. I think it's got to be more of that camp life. I want to hear more about what happens on a trip, road trips. I think the road trips are interesting.
Yeah.
I really do. I'm just saying my opinion. I love the stuff that I've been listening to with Travis McClendon and some of the things you guys have been going over with zero guide fees and the big game hunts. I want some more camp stuff. I want some more, like, what are you doing when you process that? How did you guys process that elk? I need to know. Like, how did you get that thing off the mountain and where did it go once you got it back to camp? Did you have that many coolers? Did you leave some of it up there? Did you eat the back straps and the tenderloins that first night? I want to know, like, what happens at camp. That's the phenomenon, is why do we go to camp? Yeah. Why do we leave our friends and family behind, our girlfriends, our wives, whoever it might be, to go to this duck camp or deer camp or turkey camp or elk camp or fishing camp? What goes on there? Is it supposed to stay secretive? That's what we need to know on where the pavement ends. It's not a secret. We're going to tell you what's up with camp life. This is what we do. This is how we start a fire. You know how many guys don't know how to start a fire? I'm serious. Do you have to have a beard to know how to start a fire?
And if you get too close,
Boy
you lose
Scouts
that
of
beard.
America. Now the Boys and Girl Scouts, whatever, which is another weird topic. But Boy Scouts, I think, are no facial hair. I mean, when you're in them, you probably can't grow it anyway, unless you play basketball in Vallejo or somewhere. And a lot of them high schoolers have full beards now. Seriously, I've been at some tournaments lately. Ask Jim Ray. These high school kids literally have full goatees. It's crazy. I couldn't grow facial hair then. No. I don't remember anybody. Maybe Izzy Bennett was growing facial hair. Okay, we're breaking it down way too much. That's
now you
another
broke it
episode.
Down far.
Do you want to? We're going to leave it. Do you want to tell people why you have a beard? Have you thought about it at all?
I don't know why.
Are you going to maintain it? Are you going to use oils? Are you going to use a hot comb?
I think I want to get a hot comb.
Okay, I can help you.
I can see how yours is looking straight and majestic.
I know a guy. Let me get my phone out. Hold on. Do you ever look at yourself in your iPhone phone or your camera where you can turn it around and do the selfie look?
Not too often.
It looks pretty good.
No, it looks
Dude,
nice.
This Guns N' Roses shirt I'm wearing is sick. And this hat, this Life Ain't For Everybody hat is available online right now, just released.
It is?
Look at that. This Life Ain't For Everybody podcast.
I like that style.
We need to get a Breaking It Down hat. You like that hat?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you one today. Will you wear it in front of JP at the bar? Are you working tonight?
No.
Were you working last night?
I was.
All right. We're getting out of here. Jack Daniels, thank you. We're eating Jack Links during these podcasts. Protein, Jack Links, thank you for believing in our brands and our culture. Please keep telling your friends and family. Hit that download and subscribe button. Support the partners and sponsors that support us. And we're going to go out with a bearded song right now. The bearded man himself, Zach Brown. Since I woke up today to work out and I was freezing, this is Colder Weather by Zach Brown. Y'all have a great one. Thank you all for joining us for another episode of Breaking It Down.